follow up. So, Coach Davis, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can. Yes.
All right. CL Brown, start us off.
Hi, Hubert. I was wondering if you could take us back to the end of last season in the post-game Wisconsin locker room. That's something a couple of the guys talked about, your speech to them after that game, after that loss. If you wouldn't mind, could you kind of give me insight into how you were framing this season upcoming, and I'm assuming too that is before you felt like you were going to be the head coach.
Well, I was very upset. I was
Recording in progress.
hello.
Go ahead, Hubert. Keep going.
Okay, there's a huge echo, and okay, I've got it now. Sorry about that, CL. No, after the Wisconsin game, I was upset and I was frustrated. And at the end of the season, Coach Williams always gives us as assistants a little bit of time to be able to speak if we have anything on our mind. For 8 years as an assistant, when coaches asked me at the end of the season, did I have anything that I wanted to say to the team, I had always said no. So this was the first time, CL, that I actually said yes. And I wanted to let them know that this wasn't Carolina. It wasn't Carolina to lose in the first round of the NCAA tournament. It wasn't Carolina to lose in that fashion, in that I wanted guys that were committed to being a part of this program, being a part of this team, and achieving all the team goals that we've always wanted to achieve every year. And I gave an opening to every guy on there. If they weren't locked in, if they didn't have both feet in, if they didn't unpack their bags and give this program everything that they had, then they needed to leave. They needed to transfer. I wanted guys fully committed. I wanted guys that wanted to be here and wanted to be a part of this program and this history. And I was clear and definitive in what I wanted to communicate to them after that Wisconsin game.
And as a follow for this official, regular season opening, is there anything special planned? Like, is your uncle possibly coming to the game? Like, will there, not you have anything planned, but just in terms of the support, that you have from family and friends, is this going to be a bigger deal than just a regular opening?
Not at all. And it's going to be the people that have been there throughout my entire life. One of the things that I've always said is, as a player, the first thing that I did running out of the tunnel, whether I was in high school, college, in the NBA, I was always looked for my dad. I just wanted to catch eyes with him. And it was great to have that feeling of knowing that irregardless of whatever happened in the game, I had somebody on my side. And so he'll be at the game, but he's always been there for me. He's been there as a player. He's been there as a coach. He's been there as a dad. And obviously my family will be there. My oldest son, Elijah, is coming back from college. And so he's going to come there. So it's just regular family that have been there my entire life. Nothing else is different.
Aaron Beard.
Hey, Hubert. I was struck by what you said last week about when Andrew Jones was asking you about if you were comfortable or coaches aren't comfortable. You said, "Oh, I'm very comfortable." Is there any special, thing about the emotions you think you're going to feel tomorrow night with actually having the first regular season game, or you've sounded at ease with this whole thing?
Well, it's funny. A number of people have asked me over the last couple of days, is just going to be different. It's the first time that you're going to walk through the tunnel in a regular season game as a head coach at the University of North Carolina. And I understand, yes, it is different because it'll be a regular season game. But other than that, it just isn't. And I'm a little, Aaron, a little surprised by the questions from the standpoint of, I've walked through that tunnel a lot, like a lot. And, I played here 4 years. I played in the NBA 12 years, ESPN for 7 months out of the year. I was on national TV pretty much 7 days a week. And I was an assistant here for 9 years. And so from that standpoint of, having the spotlight on you, yes, I have not been there as a head coach, but I've been there before. And so this isn't anything different to me. I'll be walking out there the same way. The emotions and the feeling would be the same way as I have walking through that tunnel the other 2,000 times that I've walked through the tunnel.
Thanks, Hubert.
Yeah.
Mike Barnes.
Hey, Hubert, to build on that, you don't think there'll be any kind of transitional period in terms of working with rotations, making calls late in the games? Because you haven't done that in this setting, right?
Not as a head coach, no. And, but, obviously it's on a much lesser scale, but, for 7 years, I was, the head coach of the JV program that we have here. So I've been in situations where you have to make decisions. And again, I've played basketball my entire life. So I've been out there. And so I know basketball, I know Carolina basketball. And so, yes, this will be the first time as the head coach during the regular season. But again, I've had a lot of experiences, whether it be on the court or on the bench, that I can pull from to help me make decisions during a game.
Steve, if I can follow up.
Yeah, go ahead, Greg.
I was listening to your retelling of the story last week, Hubert, of when Roy first approached you about wanting you to take the job. I'm just curious, as you and your wife had that conversation and you and your family, how does that conversation go? I mean, is it like weighing pros and cons, or is it pretty much known that, yeah, I'm going to take this job?
Well, the first thing that we did is we just prayed about it. We wanted to have a peace of mind of where we felt like Christ, wanted us to go. We knew that this was a door that was opened by him, and we just wanted to be obedient, and the door that was opened by him. And, I would say there is one adjustment. This is the first time that I've ever had a job where my wife is in the spotlight as well. The other times it's always been me. And so, going around town, they'll call her the first lady, and that's different for her. It's an adjustment for her because she has always been my best friend since we met in high school. And she's always, in some sense, been in the background, but now she's in the forefront. So it's been a little bit of different experience for her.
Thank you.
Andrew Jones.
Coach, if you go back 34 years, back to the days when you were catching passes at Lake Braddock and shooting baskets at Lake Braddock, what would 17-year-old Hubert have thought of what you're going to experience here in the next couple of days, that you are actually in a position, a seat that you've revered for your entire life, basically?
Yeah, I've explained this before. Other than wanting to play here at North Carolina and be a part of this program and also get my education here, that's pretty much the only forward thinking that I've ever done in my entire life. At a young age, I knew that this is where I wanted to go and this is what I wanted to do in terms of being a part of this program. When I was at Carolina, I never thought about going to the NBA. It just wasn't on my mind. My focus was on being the best that I could be at Carolina, and wherever that led me, then that would happen. When I was in the NBA, I never thought about, after I finished playing, I would love to have a career as an analyst on ESPN. I just never thought about it. And from ESPN to being an assistant coach and assistant coach to a head coach. And so from that standpoint, I've never planned or thought about it. So, what would I be thinking at 17 years old? I would be thinking at 17 years old, when I was 155 pounds at Lake Braddock High School, that I would never have started and played at Carolina. I would never play 12 years in the NBA. For somebody, when in elementary school and in middle school, I was in speech therapy class because I had trouble with my pronunciation, I would have never thought that I would have been on ESPN for 7 years. And I would have never thought that I would have been able to come back as an assistant coach and now the head coach of North Carolina. So at 17 years old, there's not much that I would have thought about that has happened in my life, which is the cool thing. That's a really, really cool thing.
And if you don't mind me asking a quick follow-up, and if you could share with us, what was your dad's reaction when you told him that Roy wanted you to take the job?
He was he was shocked. He was excited. He was scared. He was supportive. Whatever emotion that you can think of, that's what my father felt. Really, when it really hit home for him is when he came to the first official practice this year. And he just was blown away. He, after practice, and then he sent me a text as soon as he got back home to Washington, D.C. And he says, I just would have never imagined, I would have never believed that this could have happened. And the only other time that he said that is when I was playing in the NBA, and it was our second preseason game. The first preseason game that we played, it's against the San Antonio Spurs in Albany, New York. He wasn't there. And so the next day we played at home against the Dallas Mavericks, and he was in the front row watching me play in the NBA. And that's the only other time that my dad said, I never would have imagined, I never would have dreamed that I would be experiencing watching you go through this. And it was a lot of fun just talking about that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Michael Coe.
Hey, Coach. So going back to something that both you and Armando said following the exhibition about not really having a starting lineup, how soon before the game do you actually set the 5 starters for the game? Because I know Armando said it was based on defensive grades by position group.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I know who I'm going to start tomorrow night. And it is one of the things that when I was at Carolina, the starting lineup was all dependent, obviously, on positions, but it was dependent on how you graded out defensively. And I really love that. I love that Coach Smith, even though that I could shoot the ball pretty well, for myself personally, he held me accountable on being able to do well on a defensive end as well. And that's what I want to do with these guys. It's not okay to score 30 points, but allow your guy to score 40. You're going to have to play on both ends of the floor. And I want our guys to be locked in and for us to be the best defensive team that we can be. And so in order to hold each other accountable, I thought they would bring back the defensive award winners and allow guys to be rewarded for their effort on the defensive end for being allowed to start. And so I'm looking forward to doing that for the remainder of the year.
Thank you.
Kira.
Sorry. Hi, Coach. I just wanted to know, what is your attack plan for Loyola tomorrow? Were there some things that you wanted to harp on for tomorrow's game? And yeah, that's just about it.
Oh, no, it's great. No, one of the things that I felt like from the exhibition that I thought we did really well is I thought we were really good defensively, especially in the second half. I think at the beginning of the second half, we had 10 consecutive stops. I mean, that's pretty impressive. And Elizabeth City was very athletic and very good and very prepared. And so I was really happy with it defensively. So going into Loyola, I want us to be really great defensively. That's an area that I feel like that we can be consistent every day. Shots go in, and sometimes we make them, sometimes we miss. But one of the things consistently is for us to be great on the defensive end. And I really think that we can get some stuff in transition. Because of our defense in Elizabeth City allowed us to get out in transition. And one of the things that I consistently talk to the guys is about, we want to sprint to offense, but it's our pace. That's our pace. We want to be the fastest team in the country, our pace. And a lot of times our defense leads into our pace, and that gives us good offense. And as you can see, we've got tremendous versatility on the offensive end amongst our bigs and also our guards as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, Coach Davis, we're done with you. Thank you very much. We'll get Armando in here shortly.
Okay. All right.
We're done with you.